Hello friends, this is Scott back in my garden, and today is a very exciting day for me. It's been 7 years when I planted these fruit trees, and this Espalier fruit tree in particular, as long as several others. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for a harvest. I've had a couple apples here and there, but I've never had a substantial harvest up to this year. And this year we're not loaded, but we have a pretty good harvest to look at here. I always thought that these were gala apples, but I believe in looking at them, I think they're Jonagolds or Honeycrisp. I believe Jonagold's the winner. If anybody has a better idea or a different idea, let me know. But I think this tree was mismarked when we bought it because I thought it was supposed to be a Red Delicious. But anyway, I bought this tree particularly so that I could espalier it on a fence, a white vinyl fence. It was a good way to cover up a white fence, and also it's a way to grow fruit in a small backyard so I don't shade all my other plants. So espalier trees take some technique and take a little bit of training, but they're a great addition to the yard, and they're not that difficult to do. But they take time. So apples are definitely an investment. And when you plant an apple tree, you're making an investment in the future. So here I am with one of my harvest baskets that I used to build and sell at local farmers markets. And they're very handy to use to pick different crops. And you can always wash your crops off and let them dry before you bring them in the house. And they also sit on the counter so you have a little storage area for your produce. But here I am just picking all these apples, and you know when apples are ready to be picked when they start falling off the tree. And so I had 5 or 6 on the ground today, and then as I was picking a couple more dropped, so I know it's time. If you let it have a little bit of a cooler weather before you get to pick them, that's better. You don't want it to freeze, but they get a little sweeter with a little cold weather. And we've had a little bit, but not much cold. So it's time to pick them and get them in the house and decide what we're going to do with these apples. But I'm excited with the harvest. I'm going to leave a couple small immature ones on the plant, just to, they're not worth anything. But overall, in picking all these apples, it's got a pretty good harvest. It filled up the basket pretty nicely. I have picked a few over the last couple of weeks and eaten them as tests. And so we've had probably 4 or 5 more from this tree that I won't be showing today. But it looks like a pretty good harvest, and the fruit is looking good. So here I am with a little bit of a close-up of a few fruit and throwing them in the basket, and I'm just continuing on picking. Again, it's not a large harvest. It took me a couple minutes to do this whole thing, but it's exciting. And here I'm picking the lower tiers on the espalier tree. What's nice about espalier fruit is, as you see with major mature trees, the fruit are hanging all over the place. Limbs are breaking, they're hanging down, they're overloaded. With espalier trees, the way you prune them, you keep the fruit really tight to trellised wire on the branches and stems. So the fruit are not on weak branches. They're very stable. Here's a close-up of some more. And here we go. This tree, here's my espalier tree. It needs one more haircut before winter, but it's looking pretty good. And I have other espaliered, or sort of espaliered trees in the yard that haven't produced fruit, but look here. I've got some fruit on this tree, and this is either a Granny Smith or a Golden Delicious. I'm not sure. The fruit are not very large. This is the first year this tree has produced more than maybe 1 or 2 apples, small apples. So we're going to be picking these too here in the near future and tasting them and see what they are. A couple of the fruit have a little bit of pink to them, so I don't know if they are a Golden Delicious or if they're a different variety. Again, if you have an idea of what these might be, drop in the comments. But I'm excited to taste them and see if they're tart. I bet they're Granny Smith. Now here we go. Here's my harvest basket today. I counted them. There's 56 fruit in this basket. Again, I believe there are Jonagolds, but if you have a different idea, let me know in the comments. But we'll be making some nice desserts and just eating these fresh. So it's not too many to be overwhelmed, but it's enough for us to have a good meal. Or several meals, I should say, and maybe a couple pies. We'll see how they go. Well, the harvest is complete, and we're going to enjoy these apples. Hey, if you like to follow my journey in living my best rural life in the city, please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment, as I'd love to hear from you. And a basket of apples looks pretty nice on a dining room table. Thanks for watching.